Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. It's the morning show, 15th of September 2022. If you recollect, yesterday I was a bit uncertain about how the market will turn out, and I'm happy to note that it has turned out to be much better than my expectations. We ended up in positive, and many genomic stocks also did pretty well. I was still looking at Bluebird Bio, it's still in the positive, and tomorrow we should have some verdict about Elisel. So overall, I'm excited about that, and there are some positive news in the market. So let's get started. Welcome back, friends. I would begin by saying Super Biden comes to the rescue of the markets. This is because President Joe Biden announced a tentative railway labor deal early today that averts a national rail strike. This will be a positive catalyst for the markets. And also, if you recollect, yesterday, President Biden announced the release of the first round of funding for a nationwide electric vehicle charging network, financing the construction of approximately 500,000 charging stations in 35 states. The Biden administration has so far put in $135 billion towards electric vehicle development and creation in their plans. And this is a positive catalyst for the EV sector as well as the green energy sector, in my personal opinion. And let's not forget that there are still background risks that remain, but I'm happy that we have two really strong positive catalysts that are helping us while we enter the market today. A highly stressed housing market is likely to break down in face of interest rate hikes. That is something we have to watch. Increasing rent is putting strain on the households and dampening the purchase power, and therefore that can usher in more of a recessionary force. We are not yet seeing that in the CPI, but we would soon as the interest rates start going up by 75 basis points. Also, if you look at it globally, Russia-Ukraine crisis is ongoing. New conflict is possible between Greece and Turkey over the Aegean Islands. And also there is a risk that Turkey may lose its NATO membership as Erdogan makes pro-Russian statements with regard to wheat exports, accusing EU of delaying Russian wheat shipments and siding with Russia. As a NATO member, that is very that raises red flags for the rest of the NATO alliance. So there is going to be a bit of a strain on Turkey's membership with the NATO if these kind of tendencies continue going forward. That said, we also know that China has its own issues. I spoke about it yesterday, so I won't waste too much time on that. So with all that said, we have two really good positive catalysts for the United States, thanks to President Biden, and all the other risks are still remaining as they are. So now let's go and have a look at the TradingView platform and see the pre-market price action and what it has in store for us today. Let's get started with that. Well, friends, here we are at the TradingView platform looking at the Nasdaq futures chart. Each of these candles is a one-day candle, and you would see that we had a huge drop on the 13th of September, and we are trying to slowly recover from that. The positive news is that we are above the bear channel resistance. So I'm going to mark this as a green line so that it can show that it's a support. And we are also right now negotiating the horizontal resistance at 12,168.25. And I can see that right now our market price for this index is 12,182. So we have also crossed this line of resistance. So I'm going to mark this as a green line. Therefore, I think we have a really strong support, the confluence of the diagonal line of resistance from the earlier bear channel, which now becomes a support, and also this horizontal support, which is sitting at 12,168.25. So I'm hoping that our momentum starts to pick up. The momentum is not conducive right now, but if the momentum picks up, then we can see that we'll stay above this horizontal line of support, and in which case we can start aiming to build mild, I would say, mild bullish channel out here. There's a potential for us to form a bullish channel. I would be rooting for that. But at this point of time, it's too early to call anything. So I'm going to remove this line from here, and I'm not going to jinx it. So with that said, if you look at the morning pre-market action, Nasdaq futures are down 0.32%. That's not a good sign. Let's see what the indicators are telling us. US oil is down 1.48% this morning, and it has converted the earlier support of 88.00 into a resistance. Its next support is going to be the 10-day simple moving average at 86.58, which is this yellow line that we see here. and it's also going to be merging with 86.33, which is the horizontal line of support. So very strong support indeed for US oil. But the momentum is pointed downwards and it's below average. That gives me hope that oil will continue to stay low, given overall demand destruction across the global economy. That said, if you look at the QQQ is down minus 0.10%, which is a very, very marginal drop. And if I look at the QQQ long-term chart, this chart has got all candles 1 day length, and it's still in the heavy bear channel, which is bounded by this diagonal red line. So we are still within that, and all the simple moving averages are on top of the price action for today, which shows that QQQ is indeed pretty weak. And we have been following this bear channel. Within the bear channel, this diagonal green line is the support. So this is our support, and before that we have another support at 286.35. If I look at the momentum, I have a little bit of hope because momentum is pointing upwards, but it's still way below average, so you can't say much about that. But 0.06 negative pre-market doesn't show a bullish stance. That said, S&P 500 is flat pre-market, and S&P 500 is also in a bear channel, and today it has got support at this horizontal line, which is at 392.05. And we are right now at 394.60. So that's the ultimate bottom line for the markets today. Momentum is looking up, but it's way below average, and MACD is also bearish. That doesn't inspire too much of a confidence of a bull rally. If you look at Russell Index, it's down minus 0.14%, and we have this diagonal line of support for an earlier bull channel, which is now going to act as a resistance, preventing the price action from going above. So we need to break through above that. And if you look at the candle here today, we don't have a candle for today's price action, but it's likely to form in this place. Therefore, I think our resistance for today is going to be multifold. One is 183.72, which is the horizontal red line, and the other is going to be around 183.29. Right now, the market is at 182.70. So these are the two resistances that we can expect today, because the momentum is below average, though pointed up, but it needs to be above average for me to be confident. And also the fact that we are negative pre-market precludes a bullish open, but anything can happen. The markets are volatile, and that's why the VIX tends to be higher when situations like these happen. Now let's look at Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is which has found support at this horizontal green line of support at 310.69, and it has found a resistance at 312.49, which is this horizontal red line. If you are not able to see this, I'm just going to make this a bit thicker so that you can see. I have seen many times that when you look on the screen, the recording doesn't show the lines clearly, so I've just made these thick. So these are the two bounds within which the index has been moving yesterday, and today also it seems that we are going to test the support here at 310.69, given the situation of the MACD and the momentum. VIX is down marginally from yesterday. It's come down below this diagonal line of support for the earlier bull channel that we had. That gives me some amount of hope. It's also converted the 100-day simple moving average sitting at 26.23, which is this fluorescent blue line, into a resistance. So all of those things give me a little bit of hope. However, the MACD is bullish. Momentum is also above average, though pointed downwards. So if I look at everything together, my conclusion is that today, again, it's difficult to say what's going to happen. There is indecision in the market, and it could go either way, especially because yesterday turned out to be slightly positive, and we still have the 75 basis point hike, which is likely to come down the pike. However, we should also look at the positive catalyst given by Joe Biden, and that has to mean something. So that's the reason why there is a bit of indecision out here. We'll see what happens when the market opens. With that, I would like to look at US dollar index. US dollar index is definitely giving us a bearish sign because it's up 0.07%, and it's being supported by the 10-day simple moving average sitting at 13,200.37, which is this yellow line. So I'm thinking that US dollar index with the MACD being bullish and the momentum above average and pointed upward, seems to indicate that at least the US dollar index is showing bearish signs. With that said, I think I'll look at the market moves to see if we can divine any clues from there. If I look at Amazon, it's down minus 0.22%. MACD is bearish and momentum is still below average, though pointed up, so it could go either way. But right now it is showing a bearish trend. If I look at Google, Google is down minus 0.23%. It is got support at 105.06, from which it had bounced off yesterday. That's going to remain the support for today. But if I look at MACD, it is bearish. If I look at the momentum, it's way below average, though pointed slightly upwards, so it could go either way. But right now it is bearish. Apple is down minus 0.12%, and it's being constrained by the 10-day simple moving average sitting at 156.59. That is this yellow line out here. And it has got support from the 100-day simple moving average, which is this fluorescent blue line out here, which is sitting at 152.53. Right now we are at 155.12 pre-market. And yesterday was a doji candle, so today also the indecision remains. MACD being bearish and the momentum below average and pointed upwards. It could go either way again. Microsoft is down minus 0.33% pre-market, and it is sitting at 251.38. And our earlier support, which was at 252.00, is now a resistance for us. And if I look at the MACD, it is bearish and momentum is way below average, but it's slightly pointed upward. So this also is showing a bearish tendency at this point of time, but it could improve. I don't know what's going to happen today. With that said, I'm going to go and have a look at the crypto. Crypto is still strong, but it's way below the 22,000 that it had touched. Bitcoin is below 21,000 today, and it's just staying above 20,000. So it's likely to follow Nasdaq. If Nasdaq goes down, then we are likely to start moving towards 18,637 and falling below 20,000. If I look at the MACD, it is still slightly bullish. Momentum is below average and pointed upward, so it's going to take its cue from Nasdaq, and Coinbase will follow Bitcoin, and the moment Bitcoin goes red, Coinbase is also likely to go red. Now let's look at the commodities. Wheat continues to fall. That shows a weakness in the market, and it's good for inflation. And copper is also down marginally, and it's still in the consolidation range. So I think overall the indications are that the economy is not able to handle all the demand destruction that's going on. Please remember there is a whole lot of liquidity tightening, mopping up liquidity across the countries by the central bank. EU has also started doing a bit of quantitative tightening. US is already into quantitative tightening since June. So that also has to be kept in mind. If you look at the genomic shares, we have CRISPR up 6.87% yesterday, no trades pre-market today, and Beam is up 3.5% as of yesterday, no trades pre-market today. Bluebird is down minus 0.28% today, pre-market after a gain of 6.03 yesterday. I am still confident that Bluebird is going to remain green because right now we are at 7.01. Whereas our first bullish support is at 7.03, and our second bullish support is going to be at today at somewhere around this green line, which is going to be 6.86. So that's our next level of support, and after that we still have support out here, which is going to be at 3.77, which is the next bullish line of support. So there are multiple bullish supports available for Bluebird, and tomorrow we have the verdict on Eli Cell, and we still have Lovo Cell, which is in the process of getting an approval. So Bluebird is pretty strong in my opinion. These are buying opportunities. Of course, my opinion, not financial advice. Let's look at Verve. Verve is up 4.78% as of yesterday, no trades pre-market today. Of course, it is 7:32 a.m. in the morning, so one can't expect too much of pre-market trades. But if I look at the MACD, it's looking good for Verve. And if I look at the MACD, it is bearish, but the momentum is looking good for Verve. It's above average and pointed upwards. But again, if the overall Nasdaq continues to go down, it's going to have an impact on all the genomic shares that are green out here, which are likely to fare less better than the genomic shares which are red out here. So it's a kind of dead cat bounce in the reverse. Now let's look at Allogene. Allogene is up 4.28% as of yesterday, no trades pre-market. And if I look at the charts out here, it has got resistance from the 10-day simple moving average, which is this yellow line out here, and it's sitting at 14.36. and it has got support from the 50-day simple moving average, which is this orange line that you can see out here. It's sitting at 14.09. So that's the range in which this share is likely to move today, because the momentum is just about average, and MACD is bearish. It's going to take the cue from Nasdaq. If the Nasdaq goes down, we are going to see a drop in the momentum out here. DNA is up to 2.68% as of yesterday, and pre-market today it's up 0.65%, and it's inching closer to resistance at 3.20, and it's likely to test that today because MACD is bullish and the momentum is also above average. And if I look at Caribou Biosciences was up 1.79% yesterday. It got stopped by this diagonal line of resistance, which was earlier a support for the bull channel, and it's now becoming a constraint out here. But I can see that we are forming some kind of a new bull channel out here, which is bounded by, it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touch points. So I think that we are being range bound between this bull channel and the upper limit of the bull channel. That's how I would look at this. The MACD is bullish and the momentum is also above average, with a lot of room before it gets overbought. So Caribou Biosciences is doing well. But in terms of what happens with Caribou Biosciences, I would always advise you to think of having calls in place so that you can capitalize on any gains if there was a sudden downturn in Caribou Biosciences, because all said and done, all genomic stocks are high risk stocks. And when the market decides to go down, and when there is a recessionary signal that comes in, all of them may suddenly turn. So it's always advisable to use the covered calls, I would say, which can give you some kind of an insurance. Again, not financial advice, just personal opinion. If I look at ARCG, it's up 1.62%, and we can see that it's slightly above average in the momentum, and MACD is bullish, so ARCG has some potential today. There are more supporters of Cathy Wood's theory of deflation coming up shortly, and Elon Musk has joined that group. So that's again another positive for ARCG, and that could move the markets. And if I look at Invitae is up 0.57% as of yesterday, but down 1.71% this morning. And our support is going to be the 50-day simple moving average, which is this orange line, and the 10-day simple moving average, which is the yellow line. Both of them are sitting somewhere between 3.12 and 3.29, and those are going to be our initial supports. And the next level of support is going to be 2.56, and we have a resistance which is sitting at 4.04. Our MACD is above average but flat, and our MACD is bullish, but momentum is above average and flat. Therefore, I'm not able to make a call on Invitae. It could go either way. If I look at PACB, it was down 0.16% yesterday, and today it's further down, minus 1.47. I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with PACB. It's a great company with great products. And the fact that we have Illumina having problems with the antitrust and the management decision is likely to put a damper on the share price for Illumina. I see all the more positive factors for PACB. I am bullish on PACB, and I think that PACB should be able to break through our resistance of 6.10 today and test the resistance of 7.06 and truly convert the resistance of 6.10 into a support. So this is actually supposed to be a red line. I'll make it red, and then we'll take it from there. Now, if I was to look at Editas, which is the next genomic company in our stock list, we are up 1.50% this morning in pre-market action. Therefore, we are likely to test the resistance of 15.37, which is the horizontal green line. This is the green line I'm talking about. I'm just going to increase the thickness of this line so you can see it in your smaller device. And we are going to have a support, which is going to be at 14.30. Now, this resistance, I'm going to mark it red. These are the two bounds within which it's going to be functioning. The upper bound is 15.37 and the lower bound is going to be 14.30. MACD is below average, pointed down. MACD is bearish, momentum is below average, pointed down. But in the pre-market action, we are seeing 1.50% gain. So I'm thinking that we are still going to be range bound. I cannot guarantee that Editas is going to be moving upward today. But given the fact that it was negative yesterday while other genomics shares were up, there's likely to be a little bit of a dead cat bounce, but I'm certain that it's going to be within these two ranges that I spoke about. Illumina was down 1.13% yesterday, and I'm thinking that after converting this support at 197.10 into a resistance, Illumina is going to gravitate downwards towards this support at 180.79. The management, in my opinion, needs to make a decision, and if its decision is going to remain that it's going to fight the EU antitrust authorities as well as the US FTA, then I think FTC, then I think that it's going to be putting a damper on the share price, because we have a great business model, and this is like the tail wagging the dog rather than the dog wagging the tail. So I think Illumina has to make a positive decisions. Otherwise, we're going to see a persistent fall in the share price for Illumina, in my opinion. I'm looking at IMTX. IMATIX is down 1.94% as of yesterday. No trades pre-market, and I still maintain that it's an overreaction at this point of time. IMATIX has a great product. Things should turn around for IMATIX because we still are in the bull channel. But if we break down from this bullish channel, then I would be worried. Right now, the momentum doesn't show any positives, and the MACD is also very bearish. Again, when we are very close to the bottom of the MACD and the momentum, there's always a positive movement, and I'm rooting for that right now. SQZ Biotech was down minus 6.86% yesterday. It has got no trades pre-market today. And if I look at the news articles, I have got SQZ Bioscience chief to step down, and even after stepping down, he's being a member of the company's board of directors, so I don't see that as a big negative. So I don't know why SQZ is having so much of negative. I would definitely go to my trading platform today and buy some SQZ, because this is a good opportunity to buy some SQZ and look for positives, because it's as down as it can be. But if I look at the MACD and the momentum, it doesn't show any sign of it turning up. But SQZ has a good technology, in my opinion, and it doesn't need any copyright or anything from anybody else. So it's in a good situation overall. With that said, my friends, I would like to bring this video to an end. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please do not hesitate to press a like out there. Now I would like to request you guys to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. As you can see, we have reached 639 subscribers. My target is 1,000, and I'm sure many of you are watching this video and you like the contents out here, and I have done a good refresh on genomic content, and I'm hoping that you would consider subscribing. It's absolutely free and it will mean a lot to me. With that, I would like to say bye. Have a great day. Bye for now.